Oh, ¿qué pasó, Al? What's up, bro? Thanks for coming in, man. I had to restart it. We're back at it again. It's a nice day today, believe it or not. Hey, Shengi, Mr. Host, handsome Jose. Hi there. Ryan in Kansas. What's up? Yeah, no rain today, guys. You're all secret and private. Hey, non mouse. Welcome. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up, guys. We'll go ahead and get started. Okay, guys, this is chapter 5, um, the portal of the Chiricahuas, and the title of the chapter is The Rescued Forest and Its Creatures. Millions of board feet had been logged from the Chiricahuas, much of it from the west side. Bispy's Copper Queen Mine Company was the worst offender, contracting with a sawmill to supply its needs. The U.S. government waged a 12-year court battle demanding payment for taking trees from public lands. The Liz Bongs, welcome in. The Supreme Court ruled against the government shortly before President Theodore Roosevelt's July 1902 proclamation of the Chiricahua Forest Reserve. Bureau of Forestry inspectors had reported that remaining trees were valuable enough for protection. This came in time to save much old growth forest, though along the creeks and springs, livestock seeking shade, grass, and water had trampled bare the surroundings. Forestry was a new profession. From the 1890s, for over a century, policy was to extinguish flames as quickly as possible. Suppression clogged forests with debris so that catastrophic fires baked the soil into sterilized moonscapes. Now, natural fires a distance from dwellings are allowed to burn themselves out, and prescribed burns clean away brush to limit a fire when it starts. But increasing drought creates a forest tinderbox. Down in the valleys, open range grazing led cattlemen, especially corporations, to overstock. The range never recovered from the drought of 1901 to 1903, when the 75% of Cochise County's herds died of thirst and starvation. Dr. Robert Forbes of the University of Arizona's Agricultural Department called the San Simon Valley one of the most devastated grasslands in the whole country. During the 1903 roundup, the creek was bogged with rotting cattle. James Hancock found the cook making coffee from water he reckoned he had strained maggot free. That summer, a person could walk from one end of Skull Canyon to the other on decaying carcasses. Ooh, damn. Some nasty ass coffee. Shit. Then you didn't really have a choice. The Arizona Game and Fish Commission regulated deer and turkey hunting until 1918, when the Arizona Game and Fish Department was organized but had no money. Sheriff's deputies and cattle inspectors were given extra duties as deputy game wardens until 1929, when Ralph Morrow became a warden for the southeast corner of the state and trained Kimrod Kim Murphy. The first supervisor of the Chiricahua Forest Reserve, Charles McGlone, had the formidable task of convincing residents that they must pay for permits to cut firewood and fence posts or graze livestock. McGlone's new bride was unhappy in paradise, so he moved his office to Douglas, far from the forest. Promoting Cave Creek's Crystal Cave as a tourist destination, he poses at its mouth in this 1907 photograph. The wisest thing Charlie McGlone did was hire Neil Erickson, a retired cavalry sergeant who ranched in Bonito Canyon. Erickson checked mining claims and grazing permits, surveyed and mapped forest boundaries, organized crews to fight fires, and grew saplings that he planted among stumps of trees felled by loggers. Pictured in 1910 at Barfoot Park with Ranger John Weatherd left, prepares to pack supplies to hired outposts. Charles McGlone got Neil Erickson suspended shortly before his removal in 1908. Chief Forester Gifford Pinchot sent inspectors to every reserve so that incompetent political appointees could be dismissed. Prussian-born Arthur Zachal replaced McGlone in April 1908. Above in the early 1920s, Zachal stands with his children from left to right, Elsie, Sophia, Walter, and Arthur Jr. By April 15, 1908, Zachal had reinstated Erickson and rode all over the mountains with him. Zachal set up headquarters, a tent built on a platform in the mouth of the Cave Creek Canyon, which in 1909 was connected by telephone to Ranger outposts. The photograph below shows where John Hands used dynamite to help Erickson string wire around denuded Ida Peak to Erickson's headquarters. After around 1935, the Bonito campmen, shown here with their mascot bear, worked on building the campground and headquarters complex of the nearby Chiricahua National Monument. These, with roads and trails they made, enhanced visits to the weirdly beautiful wonderland of rocks. Hey, Harry Nuts! Welcome! Welcome in. Karen! Welcome in. Everybody. Our first Portal Ranger station was a small brick building on a rise above the one in the 1930s photograph. When Ranger Carl Schofield was allotted $1,000 to build a home for his family, the bricks of the 1910 station were used in it. One of the oldest Coronado National Forest structures, it is now the Cave Creek Visitor Center with informative displays and videos. Blackie Stidham, third from left in this 1930s photograph, lounges with friends outside the Fly Peak Ranger's cabin. Stidham built roads, houses, and did rock work throughout the region. Near the cabin is the wooden lookout tower built by the Cave Creek Corpsmen. The peak is named for C.S. Fly, renowned for his photographs of the surrender of Geronimo, who once homesteaded there. Packers like this corpsman in the 1930s carried supplies on steep Harpin trails no vehicle could manage. They delivered necessities to work crews, ranger outposts, and lookout towers. These tall structures usually had an enclosed space where the lookout and smoke chaser slept. Wow, that's quite steep there. You didn't have much room to go there, but With the horse, you can get them to a lot better places than you could with the vehicle. An often hazardous duty of rangers is rescuing people from places they should never have gone, such as its overhang in Silver Peak. The sheriff's trained search and rescue team operate from Bisbee, a 2-hour drive, through a helicopter. The helicopter is called in case of injury and someone stranded in a spot inaccessible by ground. Area emergency medical and fire departments are often first on scene. Yeah, that's why you guys gotta always be careful when you're out hiking and stuff like that, man. Some people see things like this and they get a little overzealous, a little overexcited, and things happen. This May 2011 photograph of the Horseshoe 2 fire shows smoke from the ridges behind the high peaks and the road closure at the forest boundary. Horseshoe 1, a few years earlier, smoldered for weeks among rocky crags until quenched by summer rains. Horseshoe 2 erupted from a campfire hurtling against the eastern Palisades, reaching the summit and devouring huge trees as it spread in both directions along Cave Creek. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Horseshoe Fire here. I remember I went out there to the Chiricahuas, went out there for Easter, and there were still some old burned trees that left around there. As the fire grew, a command post was set up at Rodeo to house and feed hundreds of firefighters, including elite hotshot crews. Aircraft dropped fire retardants and backfires were set to burn into the approaching inferno. Above smoke shrouds, the higher mountains, Portal and Paradise, were evacuated. The mega fire charred 222,000 acres before it ran out of fuel and the rains came. The photograph below shows how flames stoked by accumulated debris, stunted trees, and brush shot into the canopy of destroyed giants that had survived natural fires for up to 500 years. I want to thank you all for coming in here. Man. I had to restart the stream, so I thank you all for jumping in here. Hey, you people! Hey, man, I seen your community post, man. That was funny, man. Just that one little lonely shoe just on the sidewalk. I appreciate that, man. That's pretty awesome of you to do that. In 2005, game warden Kim Murphy views damage at Long Park 11 years after the 1994 rattlesnake fire caused by a lightning strike, as many fires are. It burned fiercely for 3 weeks, ravaging 24,000 acres. The intensity resulted from a century of National Forest Service fire suppression policy, which ended the natural cycle of surface fires every decade so that cleared out combustibles. The rain so long for during a fire can bring disaster. The 1912 flood that almost claimed Stephen Reed did sweep telephone poles and uproot trees down the canyon, but did little damage to man-made property. Unlike the December 1978 deluge, warm rain melted a huge snowpack and sent the creek raging over its banks. This cabin at Cave Creek Ranch seen in the above 1978 photograph was smashed. Below, it is seen in the devastating September 2014 flood. Deeply eroded by sluicing rains, slopes burned naked by the Horseshoe 2 fire could not soak up and hold torrents caused by Hurricane Odile. Creekside homeowners heaped up countless sandbags, which did help, but a number of cabins needed extensive repairs. Well, that took it out, man. Look at all that water. Ooh. Jeez. Kind of like the rains around here, man. Like the rain we've been getting for almost a week. Usually swinging high above the creek, the bridge shown here in 2014 lost planks while downstream concrete crossing was wrecked. Over a year later, the principal forest road to the southwestern research station in Higher Mountains is under construction. The dirt road up South Fork was demolished, though heaped with boulders and downed trees. Mama Gnome, welcome. I appreciate you coming in. Even without fire and flood, wild creatures get into trouble, like in this deserted mine shaft from which this fawn was rescued by Game Warden Kim Murphy. Patrolling the Chiricahuas on foot and horseback where his truck could not go. He enforced game laws and monitored wildlife from 1965 until he retired in 1998. Almost to his death in 2014, Murphy voluntarily cleaned out springs and seeps so vital to animals. In the 1980s, Kim Murphy and a biologist have trapped a female bear that had become too habituated to people. The photograph below shows her still sedated when taken out of the cage into the wilderness near Fort Bowie. Transporting bears to a safer area does not always work. They may travel 80 miles or more to their former haunts. A couple more pictures of bears. Black bears like the one tilting a feeder above are often brown or cinnamon and are the largest animal in the Chiricahuas. An adult male can stand 7 feet tall and weigh about 350 pounds, with females 100 pounds smaller. Juniper berries, raspberries, acorns, cactus fruit, and manzanita are staples, but these omnivores can feast on carrion, grubs, and insects. Usually solitary except when mothering cubs, bears are shy unless they discover that campgrounds and homes are often tasty fare. As proved by the bear in the photograph at left, humans need to bring in feeders by twilight and securely store edibles and garbage lest the prophecy, a fed bear is a dead bear, be fulfilled. A mother will defend cubs, but most maulings result from human error, like keeping food in tents. Yeah. Don't keep your food in your tents, guys. If you don't want this big mamma jamma in your tent. Hey, Jose Luis. Welcome, brother. Appreciate y'all coming in, man. Very awesome of you guys. Baby javelinas like those seen here are born at any time of the year and will not grow coarse dark hair until 3 months old. Adults weigh anywhere from 35 to 60 pounds. They forage for prickly pear and other plant foods in herds of up to 20 for protection from mountain lions, bobcats, and coyotes. If pressed, they may defend themselves with their sharp tusks, which may have been known to eviscerate dogs. Ooh. Mess with the mama javelina. The Portal Rodeo Hiking Group meets Thursday mornings to explore the myriad trails in the mountains or canyons of the Chiricahuas and Piloncillos. This 2014 photograph shows members on the Chiricahua National Monument Heart of Rocks Loop. From left to right are Jack Hartley, Susan Middlestat, Pat Owens, Burt Middlestat, Carl Simon, Al Baman, Elaine Moisen, Jonathan Pat, Linda Pretty, Sheila Clark, Craig McEwen, and Bill Cavalier. Since fire and flood can cause significant damage, those who enjoy the forest have worked hard to help with its recovery. The 2015 photograph above shows Portal Rodeo Hiking Group members at a South Fork crossing. From left to right are Win Brown, Reed Peters, National Forest Service Trailer Ranger Zach Ribbing, John Lacey, Kim Vaccaroo, Elaine Moisen, and Lorraine Titus. The photograph below has a lineup of Chiricahua Wilderness, a volunteer trail crew, and Portal Rodeo Hiking Group members restoring the Cave Creek Nature Trail. Such cooperation has vastly aided rehabilitation. From left to right are Sheila Clark, Reed Peters, Linda Pretty, Al Baman, Barry Ward, John Danick, Ron Pellich, Jonathan Pat, Zach Ribbing, Rolf Cofford, Pat Owens, Joe Cook, Barbara Miller, Jim Case, Jim Sumner, and Tom Kimnell. And that concludes this chapter, guys. And tomorrow will be Dudes, Birds, and Orchards. I want to thank you guys all for coming in, dropping by, showing some love, some support, and just checking out what I got going on. It's a little something different, guys. It's a little something I like to do now instead of just the regular old, cop watch. People like variety, so like to mix it up a little bit. But thought there was a train coming. I think there might be one. I don't know. Hey, Anon Mouse, Mama Gnome, I'm glad you all loved it. I enjoyed it. It's like having story time all over again. If you guys got any questions or anything, that you guys want to ask, if you guys haven't subbed to each other, go ahead and do that. And also don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't hit it already. Hey, that's right. You got that right. We can all learn together. Yeah, just from reading these kinds of books, you learn a lot. Just how the people's attitudes were, how they lived, and what they ate. what kind of vehicles they drove, whether it was horse or an old Model T Ford or some, things like that is it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. I never, um, could get myself to read books like that, but now I do find that things like that, that are very interesting and have a lot of history to it, and can learn a few things. But hey, K-Ban, what's up? Welcome in, man. I appreciate you coming in. Um, I do have two more chapters to finish out of this book, which with the weather pending tomorrow. Hopefully, it's as nice as it was today. It is really nice today. Yeah, even as you get older, you know what I mean? You can still learn. It's some things you never know until you read it. Um, I guess that's gonna do it, guys. If you guys don't have any comments, questions, or anything, shoot, I'm gonna go ahead and pack it up, and we'll get back at it tomorrow, guys. I really appreciate y'all dropping in. This is Jose G out here in Historic Railroad Park in Wilcox, Arizona, guys.